Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to the Bhakti Shastri class or Upadeśāmṛtam class. So let's start with Mangalacharan prayers. I will share my screen. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Soyam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sadvaitam
Savadhutam Parijanasahitam Krishna Chaitanya
Shri Radha
Krishna Padan Savana Lavita Shakhanita
Namo Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Nirvishesha Hey Krishna
Karuna Sindhu Namandu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanto Namostute
Tapta
Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari
Devi
Pranamami Hari
Vanchakalpataru Patitanam
Namo Namaha
Jai Shri Krishna
Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda
Hare
Hare
Krishna
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 Krishna Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Prabhupada ki jai. So, also let us recite the verses of Upadeśāmṛtam, which is the study we are doing. And those who are joined, if possible, turn on your camera. Otherwise, it's not mandatory. You're, welcome to turn it off. For Friday ones, we require the camera on, not for Saturday. Okay. So this is lead and follow. Are you doing or am I doing?
First three, no? And we do the 11 at the end.
Okay. So we'll do full recitation of all 11 at the end also, after the class. So, but today also we'll do up to 8. Yeah, we'll see. We'll quickly do all the way up to 8. Okay. So let's be fast. Okay. So please lead and follow. So please be, in sync. So lead and follow. Vacho vegam manasah krodha vegam.
Vacho vegam manasah krodha vegam
Jibha vegam udaropastha vegam.
Jibha vegam udaropastha vegam
Etan veganyo vishaheta dhiraha.
Etan veganyo vishaheta
Sarvamapi mam prithivim sashishyat.
Sarvamapi mam sashishyat
Atyaharah prayasascha.
Atyahara prayayascha
Kalpo niyamagraha.
Prajalpo niyamagraha
Sanghascha laulyam cha.
Janasanghaśya laulyam cha
Sadbhir bhakti vinashyati.
Sadbhir bhakti vinashyati
Utsahan nishchayat dhairyat.
Utsahan nishchayat dhairyat
Tat karma pravartanat.
Tat karma pravartanat
Tyāgāt sato vritteh.
Sangatyagat sate
Shadbhir bhaktir prasidhyati.
Shadbhir bhakti prasidhyati
Tadati pratigrahanati.
Tadati pratigrahanati
Yam akhyati pritchati.
Uyamakyati
Bhungte bhojayate chaiva.
Bhunte bhojate chaiva
Chadvidha priti lakshanam.
Chadvidha priti lakshanam
Krishneti yasya giritam manasayeta.
Krishneti
Krishnasya
Giritam
giritam
Manasādriyeta
Dikshasti chet pranatibhischa bhajantamisham.
Dikshasti
Chet
cheta pranatibhischa bhajantamisham
Shushrūshaya bhajana vigyam ananyamanya.
Shushrusaya bhajanvimananyamanya
Nindadi shunya hridamipsita sangalabdhya.
Nindadi
Sangalabdhya
Drishtaih svabhava janitaih vapushascha doshair.
Drishte sabhav
Na
janitesham
prakritattvamiha bhakta janasya pashyet.
Janasya pascha
Gangam bhasam na khalu budbhudapena pankair.
Abhasam kulubudafena panke
Brahma dravatvam apagacchati niradharmai.
Brahmadravadapagachati niradharmai
Chat Krishna nama charitadi sitapya vidya.
Sat Krishna charita jatapya vidya
Topatapta rasanasya narochikanu.
Pitopatattvara rasya narochikanu
Adaradhanudinam khalu saiva jushta.
Kintadaradaradam kulaseta
Svadvikramad bhavati tadgadamula hantri.
Swati krama hantri.
Okay, now comes the verse for today. So we will stop here, and towards the end we will do all 11 again. Tannam rupa charitadi sukirtananu. Yo kramena rasana manasi niyojya. Tisthan Vraje tadanuragi jananugami. Kalam naye dakhilamiti upadeśāmṛtam. Very good. Thank you. So that was, please try to remember all these 11 verses. We have recited 8 today. We will keep going, increasing one by one. And let us now go into the material. So, okay. Are the slides visible on the Zoom?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you. So, welcome to the study of Sri Upadeśāmṛtam by none other than Srila Rupa Goswami, which Srila Prabhupada, His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanarvind Srila Prabhupada, wrote translations and commentaries and called it Nectar of Instruction, which is literal translation of Upadeśāmṛta. And these are based on in-depth classes by His Grace Hari Parshad Prabhuji, and his YouTube channel is given there. So please feel free to take advantage of this very, very detailed seminar on Upadeśāmṛtam. You will not find such a detailed seminar on Upadeśāmṛtam probably anywhere else so far. So please take full advantage of that. Okay, verse 8. So verse 8 is a very, very important verse, and we are going to discuss. And as you saw in the last, in the recitation, the last part of this verse says, Iti Upadeśāmṛtam. This is the essence of all instructions given in all Vedas. So verse 8 is going into the deepest level of Upadesh or instructions. So in one way, Upadeśāmṛtam should finish at 8th verse. We will see next week or when we have class. No class next week. right?
Yeah.
Maharaj is here next week, yes. So whenever we go into verse 9, 10, and 11, you will see that it is going into a whole different theme. So the whole progressive discussion of Upadeśāmṛtam, starting from controlling our senses and interacting with devotees, chanting the holy name, all of that is coming to a culmination today in verse number 8. And you will see that it is showing us the gradually increasing process of our bhajan, of our Krishna bhajan. So that is the essence of, or that's the meaning of this verse, the gradually increasing process of our bhajan. So let us do a detailed surgery on the verse called as anvaya. So tan nam roop charita adi su kirtananu. So all those are the individual words. Tan means that person's. So which person's nam, roop, charita are we talking about?
Krishna.
Krishna. Why do you say that? Has it been mentioned? Has it been mentioned? Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeta. So yes, Krishna has been mentioned in the 5th verse. So since the 5th verse, this whole instruction is continuing. And even in the previous verse, the name of Krishna is not there. Syat Krishna nama charitadi sitapya vidya. So it's referring to that name of Krishna. And as we had discussed, it is not just Krishna, it is all of the principal avatars, the principal Vedic names of Lord Krishna that are included in this Tan. So Tan means that person or of his. Nama is name, Rupa is form, Charita is the various pastimes. The literal meaning of Charitra is character, but you know anybody's character by looking at him, what he's doing. So when we say about the Charita of Lord, it is the pastimes. Okay, there's nobody, we are not the judge of whether Lord. Some people may think they are judges of the Lord. We are not. So Charita means the pastimes, like we say Ram Charit Manas. So Ram Charit Manas means, Charita means pastimes. So Ramayana is the Tulsidas Ramayana is called Ramcharitmanas, but it is nothing but Ramayana, which is pastimes of Lord Ram. So Charit means pastimes. Adi, Charita Adi means etc. So it's not just Nam, Rupa, Charita. What about Guna? What about instructions like Bhagavad Gita, Shiksha, etc. means all of those things are included in Nam, Rupa, Charita, Adi. Now comes the most important word, Su Kirtananu. So what is the meaning of Su? A very high quality kirtan. That is the meaning of Su. So if you remember in the last class, we little bit referred to the fact that the chanting should be offenseless. So Su Kirtananu means very, very high quality. When we say Su, it is, high quality, like we say Suputra. Suputra means a good son. Kuputra we say, is a bad son. Like Kamsa was a Kuputra of Ugrasena. So there is Suputra and Kuputra. So Su means a high quality aspect. So offenseless kirtan is mentioned. So the word Su itself refers to all the aspects of doing this kirtan, this chanting of the holy name, of his name, form, pastimes in an offenseless way. So we will not be going into the 10 offenses like I said last time. I think we had some slides which showed the list of all the discussions we have had in the past on the power of the holy name and the meaning and all the details of how to tackle what are the 10 offenses and how to tackle them. Many devotees, this is a very, very important topic for devotees to go over and take advantage of that. Now, one thing that I do want to mention, I was discussing with actually a couple of devotees, is that the biggest offense in chanting, which is the biggest offense or the most prominent offense? Who can say?
Inattentive.
Guru Ninda. Guru Ninda.
Okay. So the Srila Prabhupada has advised us or taught us that the main offense is inattention or inattentive chanting. So I just want to say this, and I will say this in a public class. A couple of devotees asked me, so I will take the liberty to say this, that attentive chanting is very, very important. Let it take, people sometimes look at their watch and say that I have to do so many rounds of japa, I will budget so much time, do some math, division, this, that, whatever, 1 hour, 1.5 hour, 2 hour, whatever it takes. The most important thing is to keep the clock aside and forget about it. And don't even look afterwards. Don't even think that, oh, I'm not going to aspire to finish it in so many minutes. But after you finish, you see how much time it took. Don't even do that. Don't even keep track of the time. Just do the chanting with extremely high quality. And the one thing, there are so many 10 offenses are there, so many offenses, 10 of them are listed. It will take a long time to get rid of all those offenses. But one thing that you can start today, right today after the class, is attentive chanting. And immerse yourself in the chanting. Completely immerse yourself. I have the kind of discussion I have with devotees is 10 years, 20 years, somebody is chanting, and that includes me also. And there is no change in the heart. Cheto darpana marjanam, that cleaning of the heart, that arising of bhakti, very, very slowly it happens. That is because we are chasing a number. So leave the number aside, completely leave it aside. Now, yes, you will, and completely leave the number aside and focus on the attentive chanting. As you are taking the name, just relish each name, just relish. Consider yourself so fortunate to have this human life that you can take the name. As far as it looks to us, a dog or cat cannot take the name. It can do bhaw bhaw or meow meow, or a fish, we don't even know what sound it makes, or whatever. As a human, we can take this name. Consider yourself extremely, extremely lucky that for the next few years that you have this body of human life, of human species, take the name with extremely high quality. And quality does not yet may mean all 10 offenses are removed, but at least attention. That you can do today. Right today you can do. And now you will say, oh, but I have taken a vow. Many of the devotees are initiated devotees who have taken a vow of chanting 16 rounds. And then it seems like a big daunting task. Now, this is the sort of, I will say, the sort of, some people may think it is controversial or whatever. Pick some number out of 16. It could be 8, it could be 12, it could be 4. At least do that much with extremely high quality. If you have been doing all 16 very quickly, Hare Krishna, and just to kind of race against the clock, or, last thing in the night and falling asleep, and all the reasons of inattentiveness, X number of rounds, start improving your quality. Remaining up to 16, let us say if you take 8, remaining 8, up to you, however you have been doing, you do. What I'm trying to say is start taking this medicine. Last week, the whole topic was on medicine. It was about a disease. Which disease we talked about last week?
Philia.
Many people don't understand that. What is the English name?
Jaundice.
Jaundice. That is the disease we talked about. Rupa Goswami talks about it. Pitta. Pitto patapta. So this pitta disease of jaundice we talked about. Every disease we know needs a medicine. Okay. So if the doctor has told you to eat 10 tablets, at least eat one, no? by doing this inattentive chanting and just mechanically, it is almost, now I'm not saying it is exactly, but it is almost the same as licking the bottle. Truly. What benefit you will get by licking the bottle of the medicine? If you have to take 10 drops in your mouth, it will definitely be much better if you take at least 1 drop in your mouth, if not 10. That is much better than licking the outside of the bottle. Okay. So that is my humble request to all of you, including to me, myself. I have to also apply that. Su kirtananu. So please include the su in the kirtan. So that is a very, very important point to be, you can try and see, evaluate yourself. It's a self-evaluation that you have to do. And I'm just speaking from my standpoint where I see myself. All right. Okay. So Tannam Rupa Charitadi Su Kirtananu. First verse or the first line. Smrityo Kramena. So, okay, let's do this. So I have arranged it in a sort of separate way. I will ask someone to read it in that sequence after we cover all 4 lines. Okay. Next. Smrityo Kramena Rasana Manasi Niyojya. So smrityo means to smriti. Smriti means to remember. So remembering, kramena, this is a very, very important word. That's why I have put it in blue color. And you will see I'll have a whole slide later on this topic of kramena. Of course, everything in the verse is important, but today's class is all about krama. Krama means what? What is the English of krama?
Series.
Series or sequence, or gradually, step by step. So this is an extremely important word of the verse, kramena. So it's not a hodgepodge that sometimes you do remembering, sometimes you do chanting, sometimes you go and sit in Vraja, sometimes it's not a random access memory. It is what is called a sequential access memory. So you kind of go from one step to the other. Niyojya means to engage. Rasana means the tongue. Manasa means the mind. So tongue and mind. And smriti is remembering. So smriti, smrityo kramena rasana manasi niyojya. All right. So the rough meaning could be that to engage the mind and the tongue in remembering the names Tannama Rupa Charita Adi of Bhagavan. Okay, so far so good. Now again, in sequence, what should be done? So once the chanting has been fixed, so that was the first line, Su Kirtananu has been done, Kirtana with the Su has been done, then remembrance has been done. Okay, and you will see this in Srila Prabhupada's purport. He has very, very strongly brought out this sequence aspect. Then Tisthan Vraje. Tishtha means what? Sitting down. That's the literal meaning. So it means staying, living in Vraja. Tad Anuragi. What does tad mean?
Same.
Like his. So who is the his?
Lord Krishna.
Krishna. Just like Tan Nama Rupa. Tad Anuragi Jana. So that is one word. Tad Anuragi Jana. So sitting in Vraja, Tad Anuragi Jana. A Jana, a person. Anuragi means who is completely absorbed or completely attached to Tad. So Jana Anuragi Tad. We go in reverse, which means a person who is completely absorbed in Tad or him or Krishna. So by sitting in Vraja, we should do something to such a person or with such a person. What we should do? Anugaman, Anugami. Anugaman means what? To follow. And especially follow in the footsteps. Not imitation, but to let his mood rub off on you. To be with him, to just kind of, be around him. To learn from him. Not only to learn from his words, but to learn from his acharan, from his action, day-to-day actions, because his whole life is a public demonstration of Krishna consciousness. Only such a person is referred to as tad anuragi jana. Anuragi means completely absorbed in, completely attached to Krishna. So to such a person, or with such a person, or around such a person, we do anugaman, we follow them. Okay, so that is what one should do in Vraja. Sitting or living in Vraja, we should do this. Kalam nayed akhilam. And for how long we should do this? For 3 months, 1 month, 1 week, 1 year? How long?
Eternal.
Anavrat.
Throughout our life.
Anavrat.
All the time. Akhilam means all. Okay. And kalam means time. Nayed means to use or to engage, to apply. So to utilize all the time, kalam nayed akhilam. So all of your time you should engage in this. Iti Upadeśāmṛtam. This is the essence of all Upadesh. Okay? Clear? So please realize that there is a sequence to things being mentioned here, and there are certain very important keywords that we should take note of. So would somebody like to read the sort of the plain vanilla translation just from the anvaya? Ashish Prabhu?
I can. Oh,
Ji.
Sorry. Shamlila Mataji, you had a question?
No, Prabhuji, I would like to read. Sorry.
Okay, I requested Ashish Prabhu. So
Sorry. Yeah. Yes.
It's fine, Prabhuji. Mataji
Okay.
wants to go, let them go. It's okay.
Nanny,
They told first, so it's okay.
I don't know. Go ahead.
So Prabhuji, should I only translate
the
only
English.
the English?
Yes. And the
One,
thing to note here, this is called anvaya. So each word, even though the Sanskrit has been slightly rearranged in sequence, and I have added some words in big brackets, but those big bracket words are not directly in the translation, but they are needed to make it into a legible, grammatically correct English sentence, because there is, some aspects of Sanskrit grammar that are assumed, but in English, we bring it out using those extra words. Go ahead.
Ji, thank you. Hare Krishna. One should do offenseless kirtana or chanting of his holy name, form, pastimes, etc. And thereby one should gradually, in sequence, engage tongue and the mind in remembering Krishna's holy name, etc. Then, deciding or sitting in Vraja, one should follow in the footsteps of persons attached to, completely absorbed in Lord Krishna. Like this, one should utilize all of one's time. This is the essence of all instructions. Hare Krishna.
So this was a very plain vanilla translation of the verse. Now let us look at Srila Prabhupada's translation, and you will see that it is, in meaning or in essence, it is exactly the same. So this time, Shamlila Mataji, you can read the
Yes, Prabhuji.
translation by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanarvinda, Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada.
Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
The essence of all advice is that one should utilize one's full time, 24 hours a day, in nicely chanting and remembering the Lord's divine name, transcendental form, qualities, and eternal pastimes, thereby gradually engaging one's tongue and mind. In this way, one should reside in Vraj, Golok Vrindavan Dhaam, and serve Krishna under the guidance of devotees. One should follow in the footsteps of the Lord's beloved devotees who are deeply attached to his devotional service.
Very nice. So you see, in a sense, the meaning is exactly the same.
Yep.
Yeah. So, of course, Srila Prabhupada is doing a holistic translation. We broke it down into line by line. So some changes are, obviously going to be there. Okay. Now let us go to the slides. Okay. All right. So What did we say is the most important aspect of this verse, or the highlight of the verse? Of course, chanting is there, and then remembering is there, and going and sitting in and following in the footsteps. But what is the theme of this verse?
All the time remembering, all the time chanting.
Okay, all the time also is there. What is the theme? What is the
Gradual sequence, like
gradual sequence? Yes, very nice. So essence of this verse is sequence or krama. You can see the word krama there. That smrityoh kramena rasana manasi niyojya. So of course, in 4 lines, Srila Rupa Goswami is packing a lot of the whole Upadeśāmṛtam. He's packing in 4 lines. Can you imagine? So he cannot say kramena everywhere. First do this, secondly do this, thirdly do this. In English, sometimes we write fourthly, fifthly. There aren't so many words. So we need to understand that krama is a very important aspect of this sequence, of this verse. This verse is all about increasing our bhajan one level to the next. So this verse will give you a very, very good understanding of how one should progress. And here is the important point for all of you. Please take note of it. See in your own life, all of you are very seriously, I'm seeing at all the names of the devotees, very seriously you are doing bhajan. Many of you are enrolled in Bhakti Shastri. You are chanting 16 rounds. That is amazing commitment. It is like a 1 in a million commitment that you are doing. And it's not easy. It's not a small commitment. So, but we are not at the highest level, of course. I mean, some of you may be, but many are not. So it is a very good way to evaluate where you are and where to go next, to look forward to the next destination or the next step in your journey. So utilize this verse to see where you think you are, what is missing, what is lacking, and take yourself to the next level. This whole Upadeśāmṛtam is very, very practical, and this is the practical learning that you should get from this verse. Okay. So the first step is engaging the tongue in kirtana. Okay. So just engage in kirtana. Very, very advanced devotee said to me that many times we don't get a taste in doing japa. I am, one of those people. I'm sure if I ask, don't raise your hands, but many people will be in that category. No taste. Somebody says, oh, I'm doing because I have been told it is very important. I'm serious about my spiritual life, and this is the process, so I'm doing. Somebody should mute. Somebody please mute. Okay. Keep yourself muted unless you want. Okay. Where was I? Yeah. So not having taste in doing japa. The answer is, many a times the answer is to do more japa. But the answer is also that to develop taste in japa, do sankirtana. Together with other devotees, with music, do sankirtana, nama sankirtana. There one will get the understanding or the inspiration to do nama japa. That is point number 1. Point number 2 is to associate with such devotees who have developed some taste for doing nam japa. And point number 3 is to read Srimad Bhagavatam. So doing nama sankirtana, associating with those who have developed a taste. Now here, it's a low bar of who you are being asked to associate. It's not you have to find a pure devotee to associate, but just somebody. There are so many who have developed a very good taste in chanting the name. Just find them. They are easier to find than finding a pure Shuddha devotee like Srila Prabhupada. And the third is to invest your time in seriously reading Srimad Bhagavatam. These 3 will lead to engaging the tongue with taste, with attention in kirtana. That takes us to the next point here to do Sukirtana. Okay, so the next step is Sukirtana, which means, and the highest level of Sukirtana, or is to, along with, not highest level, but continue to remove the Nam Aparadhas. When all the Nam Aparadhas are removed, then it is Shuddha Nam. So that is the highest level. Then what is the third level according to this verse? Who can tell what is mentioned?
Engaging the mind also with the tongue.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly right. Smrityo kramena rasana manasi niyojya. So smrityo kramena. So kramena is coming, but it applies to other things also. The kramena is for the whole verse. So smrityo, and how to do smriti? By the mind and by the tongue. Rasana, tongue, manasi, mind, niyojya, or engaging. Engaging the mind and the tongue, we could have said, but tongue is already covered in the previous one, Sukirtana, in remembering the Lord. So that's the third one. So once one has made good progress on engaging the mind, and Srila Prabhupada in his purport, we will cover it towards the end of the class. There are 5 levels of engaging the mind. Okay, that is known as Smaran Dasha. There are 5 dashas that are mentioned by Srila Prabhupada. It's an excellent purport. You must read this purport like 10 times. So Smaran Dasha has 5 levels. We will see those. So how, what are the various stages even in remembering? Once one has made sufficient progress on this, then going to Vraja and living there or staying there for a long time. And do what? By going there, find a tad anuragi jana. Find people or a person who is tad anuragi, completely attached, completely absorbed in tad, in Krishna. So going to Vraj and finding such a person, tad anuragi jana. And then what to do? Anugaman, following in his or her footsteps. Does not have to be him only, could be her also. Gender does not play a role. And like this, gradually make progress to the point where one does this for all the time, which means one moves, shifts his residence to Vraja and follows in his or her footsteps. Now, one point to be mentioned, when it is said Vraja here, it could mean any place where such a person, the Vraja means, it definitely means Vraj Dhaam. The 84 kosa, what is known as square miles or whatever is the unit of conversion, is known as Vraj Mandala. But it could also mean that any place where you can find such a tad anuragi jana. Okay, so that place becomes as good as Vraja. So it may not necessarily have to be restricted. If you have a person who like that, but he's not in Vraja, but he's in Jagannath Puri, let us say, or he's in some town in South India or in Mayapur, it doesn't mean no, I have to only restrict myself to one geography. Now, one point that Srila Prabhupada makes is that this whole process of, it's a gradual progression. We will cover this in our Nectar of Devotion class for the Bhakti Shastri students and others if they are interested. This is known as Vaidhi Bhakti, Vaidhi Sadhan Bhakti. So the process or the rules and regulations are there. And after a certain time, it becomes what is known as Raga Bhakti or raganuga sadhan bhakti. This kind of sadhan, raganuga sadhan, is spontaneous. The difference is that in Vaidhi Bhakti, there are rules and regulations. But in Raga Bhakti, externally, if somebody sees there are still rules and regulations, it will appear as if they are rules and regulations. But internally, that devotee who is at a very advanced stage is serving the Lord spontaneously without any rules and regulations. He is mentally not following any rules and regulations. So it's not that it means that he's become lazy. Because there are no rules and regulations, it doesn't mean he has become lazy and he has given up the service of the Lord. That is absolutely not the case. Absolutely not. So externally, if somebody looks, it will look as if he is following the rules. But if you look in his mind, he is not following a rule book. He is just doing it spontaneously. Whereas in Vaidhi Bhakti, the devotee is following a rule book. Oh, I have been told to, or I have taken a vow to chant 16 rounds. I have to do 16, like it or not. Just like a nanny versus a mother in taking care of a child. Nanny is told you must give milk to the child 3 times. Maybe the nanny is very tired and doesn't have love for the child because it's not her child. But she will have to get up and give 3 times milk because she has been told to, or she that's the duty, or that's the expectation. There's a rule and regulations, a rule book. But a mother also, do you see a mother who's lazy and never feeds the child? Someday she may give milk 4 times, someday she may give 2 times. So there's not a very strict following of rules in the mind of the mother. So rules and regulations are necessary for a nanny. This is Vaidhi Bhakti. Because there is no attachment to the object of attachment, which is the child. In this case, to Krishna. So since there is no attachment, we have to follow the rules and regulations given by the mother. And who is the mother in this case? Acharyas. They have attachment for Krishna, so they have given us the rule book. We are like the nanny. Okay, how many times to give milk, how much milk to give, at what specific time, all those rules and regulations. But a mother, such rules and regulations are not necessary. The natural affection for the child will cause the mother to look after the child. And when affection comes from within, the rules and regulations are slackened. Okay, all of you are understanding? All of you are paying attention? This is very, very important point to progress in our bhakti, to understand these points. So again, please become very serious in your bhakti, and this whole Upadeśāmṛta is packed with practical tips on how to seriously improve in our bhakti.
So when a devotee starts treating or considering the Lord as his friend or himself as his das, is it the same raganuga?
Yes, that's at a very, very advanced stage. We will come to that. Okay, that is known as apana dasha, and then finally sampatti dasha. So we will come to that. Yes. So at apana dasha stage, one is able to sort of realize his or her relationship with the Lord. That's a very, very advanced stage. Let's not jump there. Now, you may be at that stage. I don't know you. So, but still, I mean, I know you, but a little bit. So I'm just saying, for most devotees, that's a very, very advanced stage. So, okay. So then some points, some key points. So again, the focus is on the word gradual or in sequence increment in our journey of Krishna Bhakti. So as the names, pastimes, etc. are chanted, one gradually reaches the practice of remembrance. Remembrance means what? One takes pleasure in remembering the various pastimes, the form. Primarily it is about the form, but even the pastimes of the Lord. So it's not about remembering the name. Okay, do I remember the name? That is expected. But remembering the pastime, like meditating on the pastime, what might have happened in this pastime. And as you probably, many of you heard from Hari Parshad Prabhu, this whole commentary on 10th canto of Bhakti Rasayanam, the why might Krishna have done this? Why did he do this? Why? It's all a part of constantly thinking about Krishna. Why did he do this? Or meditating on the form and the pastimes. That is the point. Constant meditation. It is, as you can imagine, it is different from chanting the names and pastimes. Chanting the names is simply to chant with attention and so on. Remembering is a deeper meditation, also contemplation, also on trying to not imagine as in like a speculation, but trying to see in your heart those pastimes sort of playing out in your heart. So all that is part of the practice of remembrance. And then those who have developed this attachment to always think, and it's not much different, for all mothers whose children are living outside. We are happening to be in that same category, college going children. Don't you think? Or even for school going children, momentary separation from like 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Mothers, fathers may think, what my child might be doing. Today I gave him this thing in the breakfast. Did he eat it? Or lunch? Did he eat it? Or did he all give it to his friends? Sometimes the child says, oh, I gave it all to my friends. I'm hungry. So what might he have done today? Or whatever, today he had a test. Did he, do well in the test? I hope easy questions come. Don't you think like that? That is meditation. So similarly, doing meditation on the Lord. So when we can do it for our material loved ones, we can get an idea how to do it or what it means to do it for Krishna. So then to meditate on the residents of Vraja who have deep love for Krishna. That is the next step. Tad anuragi jana. Wow, I am developing this attachment to Krishna, like, sports people. This is very common. People who are in a particular sport, they put posters of the famous players in that sport, not some other sport. So if a cricketer is there, he will have a poster of Tendulkar, or from our time, new ones, maybe whoever, Dhoni or whoever, Virat Kohli or whoever else may be there. So like trying to meditate, oh, this person is so good in this thing which I am interested in. Like, this person is so good in cricket, which I am interested in. So this person is so good in this type of interaction with Krishna. So you want to follow that person. So that happens. I mean, this is very natural. Nobody teaches us that you should do this. So that comes to meditate on those residents of Vraja who have deep attachment, deep love for Krishna, who are expert in basically in Krishna Bhakti due to their deep attachment and deep love for Krishna. And then to go to Vraja. So what I have said here is there should be no rush, but one should then go to Vraja, Tisthan Vraje, go to Vraj and do anugaman, or follow the footsteps of such devotees. So I missed that bullet. I should have written it. But there should be, what I am wanting to say, there should be no rush. Oh, I want to go and live in Vraj. One can live in Vraj if you have the means, but you should have the proper mindset, the proper attitude, devotional attitude and desire. Otherwise, it will be, just another place. And then, in the summer, it's very hot in Vrindavan. In winter, it's very cold and there are dogs, and rainy season, all the, there is no difference between road and gutter. The gutter water comes out and becomes, you have to sometimes walk in the. I heard some devotees, literally devotees, so to say, not, oh, Vrindavan was so dirty. There were dogs, there were pigs, this, that, and literally not like a joke, but literally they were like, there was some feeling of disgust. So that might happen, that you will see only the external and you will miss out. So, but for those who have developed the proper attitude and mindset, these things don't matter at all. And once the proper attitude is generated, one should develop this desperation to advance further in bhakti. This desperation, why am I here? Why am I not there? This feeling should come. What am I doing here? I'm wasting my time. I'm wasting my life. I should rather be there. And one aspect of this desperation is to go and stay in Vraja. That is the proper mood of staying in Vraja. Tisthan Vraje, and then tad anuragi jananugami. Kalam nayed akhilam, and spend all your time like this. Okay. So I hope you are paying very careful attention. It's a very, very important topic. This is the 8th verse, one of the most important verse of Upadeśāmṛtam. Rupa Goswami himself is saying this is very important. Iti Upadeśāsaram. So what is the purpose of going to Vraja? So let us see what is the purpose. Now, how many of you, let me ask, have gone to Vraja? Specifically Vraja. And I know many of the others who are not raising hands have also gone. Very nice. So, and many have gone. Very nice. So what has been some of the things? Why do you go to Vraj? Some of you can tell.
Darshan, Bihari ji ke darshan.
Bihari ji darshan, very nice. That was the first thing I got, seeing the deities.
Govardhan Parikrama.
It's a nice purpose. There's nothing wrong with it. Absolutely not. You know, it's a very, very wonderful. Yes, somebody else.
Pastime of the Lord.
What do you mean pastime of the Lord? What's the
Like Kalyagat and
to visit the various places of pastimes of the Lord. Very nice, very nice.
And if we fortunate, we will get to see or meet higher devotees, elevated devotees.
Very nice. Now you're going into the yes. What else? Other than that, what else?
The relish,
Relish.
the dhaam, the naam, the roop, the
Okay.
pastimes.
Very nice. And what else? So like
Sadhu Sang.
Sadhu Sangha. Okay, so now you're all you're biased, I would say, with the verse. So for many people, like one Prabhuji said, going to Kalia Ghat, maybe take a dip in Yamuna River also, you know. So taking a dip in the holy waters. Sometimes, you know, people go during festival season. How many of you go during Kartik month or during Janmashtami or during some festivities, Radhashtami? Radhashtami and Gopashtami are typically very sweet in Vrindavan, because in Vrindavan people have more love for Srimati Radharani than for Shri Krishna. So Radhashtami in many places is celebrated with more vigor than Janmashtami. Govardhan Puja, I've seen like a whole temple-size hill of halwa. So all those things. Yes, Shameshwari Mataji. Did you raise your hand? You're muted.
Sorry, Prabhu, I raised for I visited Vrindavan Dham during Radhashtami and Mangalacharan. So I raised.
Yeah, so participate in festivities. And then to receive Prashadam of the Lord and, you know, peace of mind, pious credits. I'm kind of going lower sort of. And then, you know, there are some very nice activities also, shopping. Many things are only available in Vrindavan. Photo shoot, you know, taking your selfies. Okay, I went to this place, this place, this place. I went to Vrindavan. Sattvic tourism. Why you need to go to, you know, let us say Bombay, Delhi. Let's go to Vrindavan. Better. Meet friends. Everybody comes during Kartik, so you get to meet all your friends in one place. So all those could be the reasons. Okay, but none of these are the primary purposes of going to Tirtha Sthal. Primary. These are all very valid. All are very nice. No problem with all of these. But these are not the primary purpose of visiting Tirtha Sthal. The real purpose of Tisthan Vraje. So Tirtha Sthal, we will cover this in the next slide. But Tirtha Sthal, short visits with the proper mood is fine, but a long visit is the point. Tisthan Vraje means to sit there or to live there, is really not to do any of those things, but to do tad anuragi jananugami. So to do anugaman of tad anuragi jana. That is the main purpose, to associate with devotees who are absorbed in Krishna Bhakti. And these devotees need not be limited to the 84 course, 84 course we say, of Vraj Mandal, but it could be anywhere in the universe, let alone the world. And associating with such devotees is extremely, extremely potent in accelerating our bhakti. So this verse, in a sense, is also talking about devotee association, finding the right kind of devotee association and going and jumping to it, desperately jumping onto it. This was covered in 5th verse also. What is the 5th verse? Krishneti yasya giritam manasa driyeta dikshasti chet pranatibhishcha bhajantamisham shushrushaya bhajan vigyam ananyam anya shunyadi hridam ipsita sanga labdhya of a person who is nindadi shunya hridam, who has no ninda and who is bhajan vigya. So trying to find such a person and doing sanga labdhya, association of such a person. So it was discussed in 5th verse. Again, it is being discussed here. Tad anuragi jana anugami. So this is coming up. It's a very, very important point to associate with devotees who are much, much, much more advanced than you. So there is a very nice song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur that I would like to point out. It is in Kalyana Kalpataru. It's a song book, and this is song number 14, 1-4. And here I will just quickly go over this beautiful song that Mana tumi tirthe sada rata. Mana means, my dear mind, you are always attached to going to the various tirtha sthans. Ayodhya, Mathura, Maya means Mayapur, Kashi, Kanchi, Avanti, and so many other places. And what has happened? Tumi chaho bhrami bare ei sakala bare bare. You have bhramire means you have been wandering around these again and again, bar bar. Mukti labha koribara tare, to get mukti or so many things. But nirarthaka parishram, it is just useless hard labor. Nirarthaka parishrama. Chitta sthira tirthe nahi kore, because you have not attached your mind to the tirtha, to the place of tirtha. So what is the meaning of attaching the mind? Tirtha phala, the main phala of tirtha is sadhu sangha. Sadhu sange antaranga, Shri Krishna bhajan manohara, jatha sadhu tatha tirtha. This is the important point. Jatha sadhu tatha tirtha means wherever there is sadhu, there is tirtha. Sthira kori nija chitta. You must steady or you must fix your mind, and sadhu sangha koro nirantar. Always do sadhu sangha. Jai tirthe Vaishnava nai. Vaishnava in Bengali, instead of we say B. So Vaishnava is Vaishnava. Jai tirthe Vaishnava nai, se tirthe nahi jai. No need to go to a tirtha where there is no Vaishnava. Ki labha hantiya dura desha. What's the point of going to, far distance? Jathaya Vaishnava gana sei sthana Vrindavan. See, Vrindavan, B or V, Vrindavan. So wherever there is Vaishnava gana, wherever Vaishnavas are speaking, sei sthan is Vrindavan. Sei sthane ananda ashesha. There is infinite ananda in such a place. Okay. So, more lines are there. Bhumi tatha Vrindavana. So Bhaktivinoda kohiche bhai, Brahmiya ki phal pai, Vaishnava seva mora brata. So Bhaktivinoda, Vinoda kohiche bhai, he's saying, my dear brothers, Brahmiya ki phal pai, why you are wandering, you're wasting your time going from A to B to C. Do Vaishnava seva. Vaishnava sevana mora brata. You serve the Vaishnava and you will get a lot of association out of that service. Okay, you cannot just be a take. Don't be a sucker. Give and then you will get automatically. Okay, so that is the essence of this song, of how to, what is the meaning of Vaishnava Tirtha, or sorry, not Vaishnava, Tirtha Sthala, of going to Tirtha, is to do Vaishnava Sangha. This is a very important line. Jathaya Vaishnava Gana, Sai Sthana Vrindavana, Sai Sthana Ananda Ashesha. Okay. So, to accelerate, once again, I want to drive this point home. I may sound like a broken record, but to accelerate Krishna Bhakti, one should seek out advanced devotees who are absorbed in Krishna Bhajan. You must seek them out. And if you cannot seek out, there is no yellow page, there is no directory, you cannot Google for their names. The best way is to pray to the Lord to find you the direction of who are these Tad Anuragi Janas. And be on the lookout. Use your intelligence, not just pray. God has given intelligence, use it. And then once you find them, go to wherever they are, whether it is Vraja, Mayapur, Jagannath Puri, Portland, New York, London, wherever, and do their Tad Anuragi Jana. There means that person who is attached to the Lord. Tad Anuragi Jana's Anugaman. Tad Anuragi Jana Anugami. And what does it mean? I just listed down some points. What does it mean to do Anugaman? To be greedy to associate with them, wherever they are. Again, not necessarily in Vraj. That greed, desperate should be there, desperation. That greed should be there. That greed to serve them in whatever way possible. Okay, to serve them. And again, that greed should be there, and that aspiration should be there, that if I serve them, maybe something I will get. Don't demand it, but it's not even an expectation, but it is an aspiration. Okay, whatever the saintly people say is called as the belch, dakar of a person. So when you feed a person enough, obviously the belch will come. Isn't it? When the stomach is full, one belches, no? So what if you are interested in the person belching? What would you do to that person?
Feed them full.
Feed them nicely. Belch will come. It is natural. So if you do seva of such advanced devotees, you will definitely make progress. Okay. So be desperate. Be desperate to learn the subtle meanings of Krishna Bhajan from them. And be a sincere and serious student. These devotees are not looking for your money or your, kind of material seva. Oh, is he bringing nice things to eat? Halwa puri. No, they are looking for your sincerity in whatever they are telling. You need to sincerely follow that. Like that, try to be such a good student. What they are telling that they like to see in the student, not what you think should be there in a good student, because our mind is materially programmed. So we will think whoever gives more money is a good person, because we are always looking for money. Or whoever gives more praise, false praise, what you call flattering, makhan lagana. So, oh, he's very my friend, or he's my, too much Prabhu, you are like great. Oh, great. Oh, yeah. You are my guru. You are my this. You are my that. But as when it time comes to do something, or to, then, okay, then disappeared. So not like that. So they are not looking for your money. They are not looking for your hollow, sweet flattery. They are not looking for nice things to eat. They are looking for seriousness in following whatever they are teaching. And be like that. And then you will see that what great mercy comes from them. This is what one should do while in Vraja towards the Tad Anuragi Jana. This is the meaning of Anugaman. Okay, I hope I have given a sense of it. Obviously, various commentators and acharyas have written pages and pages on this. So this is just some points to summarize that. And this is for devotees who is advanced in the stage of bhakti, because that mindset is needed to go find such a person and do following the footsteps of such a person. So just to add one point here, should we not visit Vraj Dham till then? Many of us raised our hands, and out of those, many of them may not be at this level. So did we do a wrong thing? Should we not have gone? What do you think? Shri Murari Prabhu, what do you think?
We should go, Prabhu. We should.
We should have or should
We
not?
don't need to. We do not need to wait until we reach
we do
that
not.
level of stage.
Go ahead.
I also think actually we can also take inspiration as we make more and more visits.
Yes.
We will. In practical, we may not be able to stay at this time for a longer period, but we should try to go whenever and however long we can.
Absolutely, very nice. Good summary of the slide that I'm going to share. You have already summarized it nicely. Thank you. Yes, Ramakant Prabhu. You are muted. Are you not well? Are you feeling well?
Just by repetition, just by going to these places, dhams, one develops the intimacy with the Lord.
Okay, very nice.
I think.
Okay. Yes. One develops intimacy, or we can say one develops the desire, the enthusiasm. One develops the desire and the enthusiasm to develop intimacy. So, of course, one should visit. It's not a wrong thing that you have done by visiting. Of course, visit. So, in the beginning stages, now, as I said, you need to evaluate where you are. And Srila Rupa Goswami and the various acharyas who have written commentaries like Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and our dearmost Srila Prabhupada have all written detailed commentaries on these verses. So you should utilize those to see where you are in your bhakti. So as one is progressing through the various stages of Vaidhi Bhakti, sure, one should visit, but I have just captured some points how to visit in the beginning stages. The previous slide, which was Tisthan Vraje tadanuragi jananugami, was talking about the advanced stage of visiting, and not only visiting, living there. That's what this was talking about. But here we are going to talk about short visits. So one should make visits to Vraj Dham and other holy places like Mayapur, Jagannath Puri, and so many other places are there to visit. So it's definitely highly advisable to visit, but keep the visits short. Okay, and don't do any, don't fight with anybody there. Be very, very respectful of the dham and dham vasis. Even if it is a rickshawala, even if it is a chai wala, even if it is a sweeper on the street, be very respectful. Don't fight. Even kindly mute who is not muted. So the purpose should be to reload your ammunition of enthusiasm and come back, and then utilize that enthusiasm in your progressing in your bhakti. So keep the visits short and meaningful. Before going, plan your visit meticulously. Plan out what all you are going to do, where all you are going to do, what you are going to do. Prepare your heart and mind before going to the visit. And visit all now you may not know the saintly people, okay? Otherwise, then, you can definitely should meet the saintly people, etc. But if you don't know, it doesn't mean you should not go to temples and after going, I will only meet people. That is, or the saintly people, that's very, very highly recommended. But even if you cannot find or don't know such people, go to all the prominent temples, the samadhis of the saints and our acharyas, the prominent places of the pastimes, like somebody was saying, Kalya Ghat and so many other Keshi Ghat and so many other places, Nidhi Van, etc., etc. in Vraj Mandal. In Mayapur, it could be the temple, the main temple, the ISKCON temple, and then Yogapeeth, which is the place of birth of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the place where there is the Samadhi of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj there at a place called Chaitanya Mutt. And so many other places are there. The Samadhi of Jagannath Das Babaji is there. The hut or the house of Bhaktivinoda Thakur is there. The birthplace of Lord Nityananda Ekachakra is there. In Jagannath Puri also so many places are there. Tir Kadamba, Gambhira, other than the main Jagannath Puri temple. So visit all these places and you may run into some very saintly people there. So if you hear, oh, some katha is happening, but your plan was to go have lunch, maybe give up lunch and go and sit in the katha. So that is something, once you go there, you will find out such things, prioritize that accordingly. Or if you planned to go shopping, okay, shopping can happen tomorrow. Maybe today there was a sale, give up the sale, pay full price tomorrow. Today, go listen to the katha. So visit all these places. Before going, pre-read. This is very, 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 very important. Pre-read about the Lord's specific pastimes at those places, or about those samadhis or the devotees whose samadhis are there. Pre-read about them, then you will be able to connect with them better. When you go to the samadhi, when you have read it and you go there, your heart will already be connected to that personality or to that pastime. And it will be much more meaningful to go there. So tomorrow in Sunday Feast class, I have been ordered to give Sunday Feast class tomorrow. I will be covering a virtual Vrindavan Yatra in the class. And many devotees actually told me they are going to Vrindavan in the next month or two. So, I thought it's a good opportunity to just do sort of a discussion on the prominent places to visit in Shri Vrindavan Dhaam. So that is tomorrow in the Sunday Feast at ISKCON Portland. I think it will be broadcast online, but I'm not sure. So pre-read about the Lord and his devotees and the specific pastimes at those places. And of course, plan to meet saintly devotees currently residing there. Now, you may not be able to do anugaman. You are going there for 1 week. What anugaman can be done in 1 week? You cannot, they may not even allow you. You can get only 1 minute, 5-minute darshan. In that much time, whatever little you can do, seek their blessings. Serve them. How can you serve them? You cannot make a big elaborate meal for them. Maybe they already had their lunch, so you cannot give them anything to eat. You don't even know what they like to eat. Make a small donation, do, whatever may be the way, but do some service. If not, just bow down to them. That is also service, or something like that. Seek their blessing and then come back and continue your progress in Vaidhi Bhakti with renewed vigor and enthusiasm. Because you went there to take enthusiasm, you got it. Now utilize that enthusiasm for the rest of the year. Okay. Yes, Ashish Prabhu, I saw you had your hand raised for a long time. Go ahead.
Ji Prabhuji, one point is stuck in my mind, which is your previous questions. So one should do the charity also when they go to the Vraja or any holy places?
Yes, absolutely.
Right,
Charity
Prabhuji?
means charity can be at various levels. Charity to the temple is number one. Give to the temple. They are the source of sustaining the whole sort of all the devotees and everybody. Almost all temples have free prasadam distribution and all that. So supporting the temple by your charitable activities, supporting the saintly people Like I just mentioned, give some small donation. And third is to the beggars, to the even the dogs. Do charity to the dog. Buy some, I don't know what, pudi or something and give it to the dog also. So
Thank you, Prabhuji.
definitely, yes, definitely one should do. And you know, you sometimes you might see bad, so-called bad things. You give 5 rupees to one beggar, 20 other will come and, you know, surround you. Humko bhi do, give me. It's okay. Be prepared. Preparation is very important. Okay, know what to expect. Then if you are not prepared, you will have to say, sorry, no, I don't have, and you'll have to run away from there or something so that they don't chase you. Better to be prepared. Keep a lot of 2 rupee, 5 rupee notes, whatever it is, and give it to them. Or, you know, whatever in your mind it may be there. Okay. So preparation and planning is important. You cannot just say, oh, you know, when you go for your own surgery, don't you do planning from weeks? Doctor says, stop eating this, do that. You do planning. Recently, I had what you call that colonoscopy. After 45 years, you have to get colonoscopy. After 3 days before itself, they said, don't drink colored liquid, don't eat this colored thing. The last day was the hardest. They said, you know, whatever, I can't remember. It was so hard. So you have to do preparation for your body, for a major event in the body. Why would you not do preparation for such a major event in your spiritual life? Just like we prepare for our exams, we prepare. So prepare before going. Don't just prepare in terms of, oh, have I packed all my clothes? Do I have my hotel booking? At a bodily level, we do a lot of preparation. But at a spiritual level, what preparation we are doing? Okay. All right. Then 2 important things that wanted to mention very quickly, but these are very deep points, but they are very, very beautifully mentioned by Srila Prabhupada in the purport. So I absolutely want to bring it out. Please read the purport by Srila Prabhupada. That Srila Prabhupada is saying, and this is again for you to see where you are, where I am, we are at our level of bhakti. Okay, so this is a little bit humbling. It is eye-opening that bhakti has a long way to go. In Nectar of Devotion, you will hear that bhakti is sudurlabha. Durlabha and sudurlabha means even more than durlabha, means very rarely achieved. The result, the final result of bhakti is very rarely or very hard to achieve. So here are the 5 levels. Dasha means situation, right? Dasha, we all know dasha means situation or state. Shravana dasha itself is a very high level. Hearing Krishna Katha. So many people are not hearing, you know, this announcement for this class goes to some 400 people. They are not even 40 people. So, of course, those doing Bhakti Shastri are committed. That's itself a very great level. So first is interest in hearing. Just to hear Krishna Katha is guna. I'm not saying that, you know, they all should come. There's no compulsion. I hope they are listening to some Krishna Katha somewhere. If that is not happening, then that's a problem in their life. So Shravana Dasha is hearing, just regular hearing of Krishna Katha from any good source. Okay. Then Varna Dasha means attachment to hearing. Attachment, hearing with attachment. Oh, it is happening. I don't want to miss. I will rearrange, reschedule other things so that I cannot or should not miss. Or even if you miss, then look at recording or whatever it may be. Look at some other source to get the katha. Then Smarana Dasha. Smarana Dasha has 5 different levels. Smarana Dasha is the uninterrupted remembrance of Krishna. Remembrance means, like I said, I gave the examples. What might my child be doing today? What is he doing tomorrow? What did he do yesterday if you didn't hear from him or her? That kind of constant remembrance. So first is recollection, which means remembrance with distraction plus things that you have already heard. Yesterday he did this, just remembering, oh, he gave me a phone call, he went here, he ate this, he did this, that. Remembrance means recollection with some distractions. Then dharana means absorption, remembrance without distractions. The third one is where you begin to contemplate or begin to see, that meditation, that is dhyana, trying to see the Lord in your heart, or trying to, like in a child's case, what might he be doing today? Focusing on one particular form or quality or activity of the Lord. Even in the Bhagavatam, it may be written in 2 lines, let us say, but you are meditating on those 2 lines and expanding it, zooming into it. Okay. Then dhruvanusmriti. Dhruva means fixed. That is why it is called dhruvatara, or dhruva means the pole star is fixed in the sky, it doesn't move. So that is that this meditation that was there in the 3rd level, dhyana, happens constantly and naturally. It just, you cannot stop yourself. It's like flowing, like a river is always flowing, not like a tap. Tap you can close. Can you close the river? Well, these days you have built dams to close it, but I'm not talking about dams. You can the river is always flowing. So like that, these thoughts are always flowing. And samadhi means complete, there is absolutely nothing else in the mind other than Krishna, and you're completely one. You are there. It's as if you are there. That is the state of samadhi. Then apana dasha. Apana dasha means one realizes one's spiritual identity. So samadhi state is extremely, extremely high. Then one is able to realize one's spiritual identity, that, this is in one of the, I have this in the next slide, in one of the 5 rasas, or there are more, the 5 primary rasas, there are some secondary ones as well. So one realizes what is the rasa in which I, like to think about the Lord, as a parent, as a friend, as a servant, etc. And finally is the sampatti dasha stage, where one is actually with the Lord and serving the Lord in that form. So last slide for today, this realizing of one's spiritual identity could be in one of these 5 rasas: Shanta Rasa, Dasya Rasa, Sakhya Rasa, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. And of course, this is very, very high level. I have no qualification to talk about this, but I'm just mentioning because, Srila Prabhupada has so nicely and sweetly mentioned it. And I have a very, very only theoretical understanding of this. Okay, so that is the sort of the overall coverage of verse number 8. But for us, the key points in this verse are to use this verse to see where we are in our spiritual life and how to go to the next, and to become serious, to become very, very serious about our spiritual life. This is not to be taken cheaply. Don't try to lick the bottle from the outside. Not even one molecule of the medicine will come in your mouth. If the doctor has told 10 drops, at least take 1 drop. That is better than licking the bottle from the outside. So please, I request all of you, including myself, I'm requesting to start making progress, serious progress in our Krishna Bhakti. Gradual, sequential, and serious progress. So with that, I will conclude the talk. Any comments or questions?
Prabhuji, one question. And it's a personal, so especially
But try
on
to
the.
make it generic. No
Okay, yeah, that's why I'm trying to make a generic that oftenly that 16 rounds of japa as a conditional soul, mostly, as you said, it won't be possible for us to be very constantly engaged
At
on
advanced
the,
levels, it is possible.
yeah, definitely.
Beginning
But
levels may not
that's
be.
why I don't want to be personal, but as you said, more generic. So let's take an example of the Navai who joined and they started doing the chanting, but still it's a my mind is like a monkey, it jumps. Prabhuji, so is any realizations from the senior devotees or any practical points that which can be helpful for the
So
people's?
first thing, if you have not taken a vow, you are, I would say, better off. Many devotees take a vow first before fixing it, the quality in their chanting. I am also one of them. Okay, so if you have not taken a vow, good. Whatever you do, do it with high quality. So if you are increasing your japa, if you're doing 4 rounds today, do it with very good quality. You have no obligation to do 16 rounds today. Now you may have, because you have, now that was also a condition for Bhakti Shastri to get the degree. So those who are not doing that, those who are not initiated, or those who are not having any kind of other reason, do with high quality. That is the, or at least if you have to do 16, for what reason, whatever reason you have taken a vow or you have given a commitment, has taken a sankalpa, as we say, of doing 16 rounds, pick X number of rounds to do with very high quality. Okay, if you have said, I will take 10 drops, take 2 drops of real medicine, 8 drops placebo. Okay, at least 2 drops real medicine is going. Okay, because of our shortcoming, we cannot take all 10 drops, but we should not minimize it to 0. Or do it completely mechanically, chasing a number which is as good as doing 0. Okay. So that is the first thing. Do some amount of very, very good attentive chanting with absorption, with a desire that the Lord is really getting pleased with my chanting. Do it in a way like an offering, that I want to do such chanting that Lord will be happy with me. Whatever there could be, one of the things I want to say is, plan today in what mood will I do the chanting which will make the Lord happy. Come up with something, like as a parent. Now maybe you are cooking in your house, I don't cook in my house, but mother cooks, or let us say, doesn't she prepare tomorrow? What am I going to prepare? Oh, I will need tomato, I will need whatever are the ingredients. Or today I cannot make that dish because I don't have tomato. Then she tells me, go get tomato, because I want to make that dish for my child and tomato is required, but we don't have it. So it is prior planning. Ekadashi, you plan, oh, there is no quinoa in the house, let's go get it, right? Or no fruits or something in the house, so you do planning. So in the same way, before japa, don't just take your bead bag and just start doing. Plan for it. In what mood will I do it today that will please the Lord? Maybe it is something from Srimad Bhagavatam that inspired you previous day out of your reading. Maybe you heard something in the lecture. Maybe somebody told you something in the class, or whatever it can be. There can be so many things that you can focus your chanting on. The best thing to focus on the chanting is to make the Lord happy, to do it attentively, to do it with a mood of desperation, that this is my only hope. Otherwise, this whole human life will go just very quickly, it will go waste. This is my only useful thing really that I am doing for my own life, for my soul. With that feeling you do. Everything else you are doing in the day is temporary, is just to make your body happy. Body means even your emotions is part of body. Your mind also is part of your body. So it's only to make your mental peace, emotional peace, bodily peace. Isn't that all we do every day? Going to the job, making food for the child. What else do you do? Family, taking care of family, working, this. That's all what people do. What else do they do? Sleep. Chanting is the only thing which we are doing that will help us for our future beyond this body. With that mood, with that desperation, we should do at least X number of rounds. That way you will have the desire to go to 16 with that same quality. And then there are many things, like if the mind wanders, bring it back. Don't beat yourself. It's okay. We are training. We are in a training phase. And do it, with attentive, not while you are sleeping or feeling sleepy. Prioritize it. Number one priority should be to get this done when the mind is fresh. Many things. There is a very nice book called Japa by Bhurijan Prabhu. You can read that. A lot of interesting points are made. But what I just said is should be the main focus. Plan and high quality, at least few rounds.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, the Dasya Rasa, we never heard about Chitraka, Patraka, or Raktaka, Prabhuji. Can you?
To be honest, I took it from the purport.
Okay.
There in the purport by Srila Prabhupada. I will show you. Exactly. I just took Srila Prabhupada's purport and converted it into a. Now, of course, I know about Mother Yashoda and Nanda Baba and all the others, but here is the purport. So here is the purport. Let me make a little bit small font. So here we will see all the dashas, Shravana dasha, Varana dasha, Sampatti dasha. So that was that slide. And then here you will see this. Maybe, we can read up. So we will see Dasya Rasa. One follows in the footsteps of servants like Chitraka. I just took it. I also was wondering when I was making the slide. But I thought, if Srila Prabhupada has written it, it's gold standard.
Sure. Prabhu, I don't know much, but they're
yes, please go ahead.
Younger Gopas, like you see Sridham, Sudham, they're actually playing with Krishna. They're the cowherd boys who are friends, right? You see here Sakya. So Chitrak, Patrak, Ratak, these are like younger.
Okay.
So they're more in the mood of servant. So like, for example, when Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill, all of the 5 rasas were all engaged in different seva, all at the same time. This is like one of the only pastimes this happens, right? Like Madhumanga was encouraging Krishna to eat. Well, Mother Yashoda wanted Krishna, you eat, right? And Madhumanga was like, I'm hungry too, feed, But like Sridham and Sudham wouldn't be feeding Krishna, but like Ratak and Patrak, they would be feeding Krishna, right? So they would be there to do some seva. Now you'll see that each rasa builds on the other. So like Sridham and Sudham will also be serving Krishna, but it will be in a friendly mood, where Patrak and Ratrak will be in more like Hanuman mood, where it's not like a friend, where they're gonna, at one moment they'll be massaging Krishna's feet, and then the next moment they'll be jumping on him trying to wrestle, right? It wouldn't be like that mood.
Wonderful. Thank you, Prabhu. It's so nice to have you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
And for saving me. All right. There are some things in the chat. Let me quickly see. Yeah, there are comments. Japa after 8 p.m. leads to sleep. Yep. Understand Vraja Bhava. Finding Krishna and his reciprocation is easier in dhaam. Yes, definitely it's easier in dhaam. And especially if you go during festival season, like especially if you go to Vrindavan in Kartik season or go to Mayapur in Gaur Purnima season, it's a convergence of all the devotees. Just like if you go to Naimisharanya when Shukdev Goswami was speaking, you will find all the rishis there. So similarly, going at a particular time and all, there is a much higher possibility of finding the saintly people. much unlike if you go to Las Vegas. Very hard to find saintly people there. So there's the contrast. Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Okay. If not, then let's recite all the 11 verses. We can do it in about 5 minutes. And those of you that want to leave or have a commitment, please feel free. Those who want to stay can please stay and recite the 11 verses. My wife will we'll do again lead follow. Let's do all 8, all 11. It's just relishing to do all 11. So, no, I think it's okay. The first 3 verses are about making up our mind, not mind, I mean our various practices, our various rules and regulations for our bhakti. 4th and 5th are about interaction with devotees, even the 6th one, 4th, 5th and 6th. That's how also if you see the homeworks are organized in that way. 1, 2, 3, then 4, 5, 6 are about interactions with devotees. 4th is about close interaction with devotees. 5th is broad interaction, and 6th is how not to see fault in devotees. Because when we start interacting, we will see fault. That's our nature. What we say, familiarity breeds contempt. Or when we say 2 vessels are there will always be some noise. Do bartan jo hai khatpat hogi hi. So how not to do that? Then 7th and 8th are very strongly about personal bhajan, personal bhakti. And 9, 10 and 11 are all about the sweetness of the topmost position of Srimati Radharani and her topmost place, which is Radha Kund. So 9, 10 and 11 are directly focusing on Srimati Radharani, which is the topmost devotee. So that is the general sequence of Upadeśāmṛtam. So my wife will do the leading and we will all do the following.
Vacho vegam manasah krodha vegam.
Vacho vegam manasa vegam
Jiva vegam udaropastha vegam.
Jiva vegam udaropastha vegam
Etan veganyo vishaheta dhira.
Etan
veganyo
veganyo vishaheta dhiraha
Sarvamapi mam prithivim sashishyat.
Sarvamapi mam prithivim sasishyat.
Kindly mute yourself if some background noise is there.
Atyaharah prayasascha.
Atyaharayascha
Prajalpo niyamagrahah.
prajalpo niyamagrahah
Niyamagraha
Janasangascha laulyam cha.
jansangascha
Bhaktir vinashyati.
sadbhir
Bhaktir-vinashyati
Utsaha nishchaya dhairyat.
utsaha nishchayadhyat
Karma pravartana.
tat karma pravartanat
Tat-karma pravartana
sangatyaga
Bhakti
Prasidhyati.
sadbhir
Sadbhir-bhakti-prasiddhyati
Dadati pratigrihnati.
dadati pratigranati
Guhyamakyati pruchati.
guhyamakyati
Dhammati pृच्छति
He bhojayate chaiva.
bhukte bhojate chaiva
Bhojayate chaiva
Lakshanam.
sadvidham
Sattva-lakshanam
Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeta.
कृष्णेति यस्य
Yasya
गिरितं
giritam
तं
manasadriyeta
प्रसाद्रियेत
Dikshasti chet pranati vishta bhajantamisham.
dikshasi chet pranati bhajanti sham
Bhajantamisham
Daya bhajana vigyamananya manya.
शुश्रूषय
निन्दाशून्यहृदमीप्सितसङ्गलब्ध्या
निन्दाशून्यहृदयेप्सितसङ्गलभ्या
दृष्टे स्वभावजनितैव पुषश्च दोषे
स्वभावजनितेर्वपुषस्तदोषे
न प्राकृतत्वमिह भक्तजनस्य पश्येत् गङ्गाम्भसां न खलु बुद्बुदफेन पङ्के ब्रह्मद्रवत्वमपगच्छति नीरधर्मै स्यात् कृष्ण नाम चरितादिसिताप्यविद्या पित्तोपतप्त रसनस्य न रोचिकानु किन्त्वादरादनुदिनं खलु सैव जुष्टा स्वाद्विक्रमाद् भवति तद्गदमूलहन्त्री तन्नाम रूप चरितादिसुकीर्तनानु प्रत्यो क्रमेण रसना मनसि नियोज्य तिष्ठन् व्रजे तदनुरागी जनानुगामी कालं नयेदखिलमित्युपदेशसारम् वैकुण्ठाजनितो वरामधुपुरी तत्रापि रासोत्सवात् वृन्दारण्यमुदारपाणिरमणा तत्रापि गोवर्धना राधा कुण्डमिहापि गोकुलपते प्रेमामृता प्लावना कुर्यादस्य विराजतो गिरितटे सेवां विवेकिनकाः कर्मेभ्यः परितो हरे प्रियतया व्यक्तिर्ज्ञानिना तेभ्यो ज्ञानविमुक्त भक्ति परमा प्रेमैकनिष्ठास्तथा तेभ्यस्तापशुपालपङ्कजदृशस्ताभ्योऽपि साराधिका श्रेष्ठा तत्त्वमियं तदीय सरसी तां नाश्रयेत् कः कृती
Now this is a different meter. The previous one was Shardola Vikriditam. That was 19 syllables. This is known as Mandakranta, 17 syllables.
Krishnasyoche pranaya vasati preyasibhyopi radha. Krishnasyoche pranaya vasati preyasibhyopi radha. Kundam chasya munibhirabhitas tadrge vavyadhayi.
Kundam chasya munibhirabhitas
Yat prishtherapi alamasulabham kim punar bhakti bhajam. Yat prishtherapi premedam sakradapi sarha snaturaviskaroti.
Okay. So that is those are the 11 verses of Sri Upadeśāmṛtam. Again, for Bhakti Shastri, you have to memorize only first 3. But to go to Goloka to make spiritual progress, you have to memorize all 11. Okay. So that is the 2 different exams. Bhakti Shastri exam is different and final exam is different. So please memorize these as best as possible. Please try to apply them. Upadeśāmṛtam is the most practical scripture that I have come across. So practical. So please use this nicely. And there will be no class next Saturday because His Holiness Prabhupada Maharaj will be visiting Portland. So please join in those classes that he will be taking. And temple announcement contains all the details. So thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Rupa Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare
Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you.
Prabhuji,
Hare
you have
Krishna.
1 minute.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Valmiki Prabhu.
Prabhuji, do you have a few minutes so we could talk?
Yes, sure. Just let me close the recording.
Yeah.